Have you ever started something with excitement only to stop after a few days? A fitness plan, a side project, a skill you swore you would finally learn. You told yourself this time would be different. You felt the energy, the hope, the certainty that you were finally moving forward. And then life got busy. You missed one day, then another. Then you told yourself you would start again next week. Next week came and the pattern repeated. You call it trying. But it is not trying. It is resetting. Every time you stop, you go back to zero. Not just in progress, but in momentum. And momentum is the only thing that turns effort into results. What if the difference between the life you have and the life you want is not working harder, but simply stopping the cycle of starting over? What if one decision to keep going, even when it feels pointless, could save you years of lost time? This is the story of a man who spent 6 years restarting. He had folders of unfinished projects, photos of abandoned goals, and a quiet weight of years that had slipped away. Until one night, he found a picture of himself from 5 years earlier and realized he was still in the same place. That moment changed everything. Stay with me until the end, because his story might be the proof that you are not failing. You are just resetting. And once you stop resetting, everything changes. The folder on his laptop was called Project Alpha. Alex had created it 6 years ago. Inside were dozens of documents, sketches, half-finished plans. He had opened it 3 times in the last 2 years. Each time he read a few pages, felt a flicker of excitement, and then closed it. The excitement faded. The project waited. The years passed. He stared at the folder now, his finger hovering over the trackpad. He could feel the familiar pattern rising. The guilt, then the promise. I'll start again tomorrow. For real this time. He closed the laptop. He had made that promise before, dozens of times. And tomorrow always became the same as yesterday. Alex was 32. He had a decent job, a small apartment, friends who thought he was doing fine. On paper, nothing was wrong. But there was a quiet, persistent weight he carried. A sense that he was running in place while everyone else moved ahead. He had started things. He had ideas, plans, bursts of energy. But somewhere along the way, the energy always faded. He would miss a day, then another, then tell himself he would restart next week. Next week came and the pattern repeated. He had stopped counting how many times he had started over. Fitness plans, side projects, skills he wanted to learn. Each time, the beginning felt powerful. He was going to change everything. He bought books, downloaded apps, made schedules. Then the first obstacle appeared. A busy week, a late night, a moment of low motivation. He told himself he would take a break. The break stretched into weeks. When he tried to return, the enthusiasm was gone. He felt like he was starting from zero again. So he did. Again and again. He called it trying. But it was not trying. It was resetting. One evening, Alex was sitting on his couch, scrolling through old photos on his phone. He found a picture of himself from 5 years ago, holding a gym membership card, grinning. He remembered that week. He had gone every day, felt unstoppable. Then he had missed one workout, then another, then the membership expired and used. He looked at the photo, then at his reflection in the dark screen. 5 years. He was in the same shape, the same job, the same place. He had not failed at anything. He had simply stopped, over and over. And each time he stopped, he reset. The next time he started, he was back at the bottom of the hill, looking up at the same climb. That night, he did not sleep well. The question kept circling. What if I had never stopped? The next morning, Alex sat at his desk, the Project Alpha folder open on his screen. He did not feel motivated. He felt tired. But something was different. He was not looking for inspiration. He was looking for a rule. A rule he could keep when the motivation ran out. He wrote on a sticky note, 1 hour, every day, no negotiation. He put it on the edge of his monitor. Then he worked for 1 hour. It was messy, unfocused, uncomfortable. When the hour ended, he closed the laptop. Nothing had changed, but he had not broken the rule. He had kept it. The first month was a war. His brain fought him every day. The old pattern whispered, 1 day off won't hurt. You can start again tomorrow. Some days he listened. He would skip the hour, feel the familiar guilt, and promise to do better tomorrow. But this time he did something different. When he missed a day, he did not restart the count. He did not punish himself. He just did the hour the next day. He was learning something. The goal was not perfection. The goal was continuity. By the second month, the hour had become a habit. The resistance softened. He no longer had to convince himself to sit down. He just did it. The work was still slow, still invisible. He could not point to any result. But something was building beneath the surface, something he could not yet name. Then came the setback that nearly broke him. Project at work exploded. Deadlines piled up. He worked late, came home exhausted, and fell into bed without opening his laptop. One missed day became 3. The voice returned, stronger than ever. See, you cannot do this. You are the same as always. You might as well stop. He sat on the couch, the sticky note staring back at him, and for a long moment he considered giving up. It would be easy. No one would know. He could go back to the old pattern, the one that felt familiar, the one that never demanded anything of him. But then he thought about the photo. 5 years lost to restarts. He thought about the question that had circled in his head that sleepless night. What if I had never stopped? He looked at the sticky note. He opened the laptop. He did his hour. It was harder than it had been in weeks. But he did it. And when he finished, something inside him clicked. He stopped negotiating. The voice did not disappear, but it lost its power. Months passed. The hour became a system. Alex stopped asking whether he felt like working. He just worked. The discomfort faded. The work that once felt like a struggle now felt like a rhythm. He noticed changes he had not expected. His mind was sharper at work. He was finishing tasks faster, leaving earlier, feeling less drained. The side project was no longer a folder of half-finished plans. It was taking shape. Slowly, invisibly, then more visibly. He started showing what he had built to colleagues. They were impressed. Not because it was perfect, but because it was real. One afternoon, his manager called him into her office. "I've noticed something different about you," she said. "You're more focused, more consistent. What changed?" Alex thought about the question. He could have talked about habits, about the sticky note, about the years of restarts. But the truth was simpler. "I stopped resetting," he said. "I just kept going." 2 years later, Alex looked at his life and did not recognize it. The side project had become a business. The skills he had built had opened doors he never thought possible. He had money saved, direction, a sense of momentum he had never felt before. He still had the sticky note. It was faded now, the edges curled. But he kept it on his desk. A reminder of the day he stopped starting over. If you asked him what changed everything, he would not talk about the business or the money. He would not talk about the habits or the systems. He would say, "It was the day I realized that resetting was the same as losing. I decided to stop losing. I decided to keep going." Here is what Alex learned. And it is worth holding on to. You do not fall behind in one big mistake. You fall behind in small resets. A missed day, a delayed decision, a quiet, "I'll start tomorrow." Each one feels harmless. Each one feels like you are still in control. But over time, those resets do not just slow you down. They rewrite your life. They shape your identity. And one day, you wake up realizing years have passed, but you are still in the same place. Most people misunderstand success. They think it comes from intensity, more effort, more hours, more pushing. But the people who actually win do not rely on intensity. They rely on continuity. They do not go harder. They go longer. They understand that small actions, repeated daily, always outperform big actions done occasionally. Because momentum is everything. Once momentum builds, things become easier. Decisions become automatic. Progress starts accelerating. But if you keep breaking it, everything always feels hard. You stay stuck in the hardest phase forever. You spend your life starting, stopping, starting again, never reaching the part where it finally compounds. The people who change their lives are not the ones who never struggle. They are the ones who keep going when it feels like nothing is working. They understand the invisible phase, the phase where effort does not yet match results, where the brain questions everything, where most people quit. They stay, not because they are special, because they have seen the alternative. They have seen what resetting does to a life. Now look at your own life. The things you have started and abandoned. The goals you have restarted a dozen times. The skills you have learned and forgotten. Those are not failures. They are resets. And every reset costs you momentum, time, and the version of yourself you could have become. You do not need to change everything overnight. You need to stop resetting. Pick one thing. Do it every day. No negotiation. When you miss a day, do not punish yourself. Do not restart the count. Just do it the next day. Continuity is not perfection. Continuity is getting back on the path without resetting. Time will pass anyway. That part is guaranteed. The only question is whether you will spend it resetting or building. Whether you will look back on years that slipped away or look back on something you actually built. The difference is not intensity. It is continuity. It is the willingness to keep going when it feels like nothing is happening. It is the decision to stop restarting and start continuing. If this made you see something in your own pattern, do not let it pass. Pick one thing today. Do it. Do it again tomorrow. Do not reset. Just continue. And if you want more stories that help you build momentum, hit like and subscribe, because the people who win are not the ones who never stop. They are the ones who stop resetting.